Hello YouTube, this is Budget Monkey here. I'm finally back and glad to be here. Another review. Actually, let's call this not so much a review. I haven't even broke it in quite yet. So let's call it a initial review with a final review to come with some more range time and get some more provability out of this, or reliability out of this. Anyway, what we have here is a Jimenez Jimenez, what is it? Oh yeah, a Jimenez Arms, another Saturday Night Special family, the JA9. Alright, another junk pot metal gun, right? Me and my Saturday Night Specials and my junk guns. Why do I like junk guns? Well, they're inexpensive, and the ones that work are awesome. So far, so good. Realistic round mount through it's probably less than 50. So still sitting here unsure. Can't recommend it or not yet. We'll get into that. For uses, it's heavy. Man, this gun is a chunk. It is heavy. It's not hit. Oh, well, that's before we get started here. Chamber's empty. This mag's empty. As you guys can see, that mag's empty. Just get another shot at chamber, maybe. Chamber's empty. Alright. Let's do that. This mag is full. I'll get to why in a minute. And here's the rounds I just emptied out of this mag before the review. Alright. So, uses. Concealed carry? No. Size wise and weight wise, it's about the same size as this High Point C9, but it weighs what, an ounce more. So if you get familiar with the High Point at all, you're basically looking the same weight, which is interesting enough because this has a zinc body, zinc alloy, whatever it is called, the ZMAC or whatever, and slide, whereas the High Point has a polymer body and it weighs in just 1 ounce less. Something to think about. Alright. Plinker. Sure, if you don't mind shooting 9mm as a plinking round, yeah, go for it, man. Still relatively inexpensive these days, especially if you reload. It hasn't blown up on me yet. I haven't put that many rounds through it, but yeah, so far so good. Other uses. Should hit the fan gun. I'm gonna say yes, and here's why. I have got $0 invested in this and got it in a trade. It was brand new. Picked it up from the gun store, did the transfer there. I have no problems going and burying that somewhere. None. So, end of the world gun, SHTF gun, sure. Why not? At that point, any gun's a good gun, right? Even if you make it out with your Glock, your SIG, your H&K, whatever you got. And you dig that up, hey, it's bartering, nothing else. Any other uses? Well, you know, I have to go through some more testing with it and see just how reliable it is. If it shows me that it's reliable, you know, I say, yeah, it's a glove box gun, trunk gun, glove box gun. Because you're not really going to care about it, because it's, you know, it's cheap. It's like $175, $175 in my area. Out the door with the transfer is what he was charging last month. Had him on special, $199 typically. So it still falls in the less than $200 category for my reviews purposes. Firepower, and this is where this thing is going to shine against its competitors in its market. And what competitors do you have in the less than $200 new firearm, handgun, pistol, semi-auto market? Well, the only real competitor's got the High Point C9, and I say that because it's the only one that functions well, and so far it's functioning well. Time will tell. I need to get off my butt, maybe next weekend, go out there and just go ahead and shoot 500-600 more rounds through it, and then I can come back with y'all and tell you just how reliable it is or it is not. So that is that. Okay, let's see here. Firepower. Still staying on the subject. The manual says to shoot only full metal jacket like this ball nose. This is a Federal 115 grain, one of my personal favorite full metal jackets, a 9mm Luger. So I haven't shot any hollow points out of it yet. I don't know how they'll function. Maybe that's where people are getting their jams from on these guns. I've seen a lot of videos, people dogging them. Oh, they're jam-o-matics, there are, you know, all that good stuff that you get anyway. It can be a perfectly functioning gun that if it costs less than a Glock, it's junk in most people's eyes. And that's why I'm doing these videos. Kind of open your eyes. I don't know, this could be junk. I don't know yet. But 12 round mags. This came with 2 mags from the factory. 12 rounders. Wow, impressive. Sure does beat a Hi-Point C9's 8. That's pretty limited capacity, especially in a gun that size. Especially on top of that, when you consider that it's, you know, the same weight, about the same thickness, and you got 2 mags instead of just the 1. In my area, this runs $40 higher than the Hi-Point. Okay, Hi-Point C9, as of September 2012, in the rural area that I live in, you can get them for $169 brand new. Snapshot in time. Your mileage may vary, but that's what you can get here. Alright, so let's go on to ergonomics. This thing is like carrying a brick, and although it's not hideous, I actually kind of like the look of it. These plastic grips suck, man. They just, if they had some checkering, it might be alright. This thing is wide, and I don't have huge hands, but they're not tiny either, and that's all I can wrap around on it. Now it fits me good in the rear. It's dovetailed enough that I don't have to worry about slide bite. You know, that all's fine, but man. Especially with this grip being this fat, I'm not going to throw a Hogue on here, anything to widen it up. So I'm either going to have to checker this or try to find some aftermarket grip for it. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Sight picture wise, the sights are pretty decent. I like the red on the front and the adjustable rear sights, which I don't understand how come all the cheap guns can have it but the more expensive ones can't find it in their manufacturing process to throw that on there. But yeah, man, this thing is just a chunk. It's heavy. It doesn't point well for me. You know, that's all kind of a personal thing. It's kind of top heavy, even with a loaded mag. It's a little top heavy for me. Kind of points downward, which might be nice if I was standing on a roof shooting zombies, but for an everyday purpose, you know, it takes effort to hold it up. And then with the, you know, the recoil that it has, slightly more than the C9 in my opinion, still not as bad as some, especially shooting the 9mm Luger. And then as heavy as it is, it absorbs a lot of it, but it's just hard to keep on point for fast shots. Just how I feel. I think you could do accuracy wise would do a lot better if it pointed naturally upwards a little bit more. Don't know. Value. I don't know yet. If it works, if it continues to work the way as well as it works now, it's a tremendous value, just like a Hi-Point is. That being said, if it doesn't continue to work, it's not a value at all. It turns to a boat anchor at that point, because it is actually an ounce heavier than your Hi-Point. Unloaded, then you got, you know, 12 rounds instead of 8. So it's pretty heavy. Like I say, time will tell on that aspect. So far, value, I'm going to give it a mid-range because it functions great right now. Let me get it broke in and get back with you. Functionality. That's another one of those things I'm just going to have to come back to probably. Although, I will. Let me open this back up and see if we can get a shot in there on the ramp. If you've seen my Hi-Point vid, I talk about the ramp angle a little bit and why it doesn't feed hollow points well. Yeah, this one's even steeper. So when it says not to shoot hollow points, I'm going to assume that's why. And it's just not, I don't see a hollow point feeding in that. But and it says not to. We'll try it later, see how it works. Like I said, I don't have any problems running hollow points out of my high point as long as they're a rounded nose. If I get something flat nosed, you know, like a really big hollow point 9, then it just doesn't work for me. But I really feel like that's where a lot of people get into their problems on these, running, you know, blunt nosed 9mm to it. So far, may have changed. I may change my mind on that. So far, no problems. Less than 100 rounds, probably less than 50 rounds to it. Another thing I do like about this gun though is this is a really cheap holster. If you got a really cheap gun, then why go out and buy an expensive holster for it? It's actually a BB gun holster. I bought it at Walmart for like $6. Crossman makes it. Fits perfectly in here for any kind of use that I would have. That's great. And it's really not a bad holster. Holds an extra mag, a belt loop, and it's got a, even though it's got the buckle here, it also breaks away for faster draw. I like it, especially for $6, and it fits this cheap gun. So kudos there. Might be a plus sign for it. But yeah, so far I like it. Do I like it more than my C9? Yes and no. I like the C9 for its proven reliability in my hands. I like this for the 12 round capacity, the double mag the 2 mags that came with it, and you know, all around it just looks better. And it's not going to win any beauty contests, but it looks better than the C9. So it's a little bit about the company. All right, Jimenez. It used to be Jennings, Bryco, another Saturday Night Special company, and I think I've touched on this in my other videos. I know I did in the Phoenix video, the Jimenez Arms HP 22A. I kind of like throwing some support their way for the Saturday Night Specials. Yeah, flame me if you want to. My thing is, they're trying to make a product to put in the hands of every individual. Okay, whether the individual is good, bad, or otherwise. Guns are always going to be in criminals' hands, period. They're always going to find a way to get it. You know, that it is what it is. So take the guns away from me, you're never going to take them away from them. And I like companies who are putting out a product that every person can afford as long as they function. So far, time will tell on this one. I really like my other ones. My High Point, which is not quote-unquote a Saturday Night Special since they weren't around at the time, but my Jimenez Arm I really like, and so far it's been 100% reliable. That being said, sorry about the pause, I had to take a drink. That being said, I'm going to end this one. It's been the Budget Monkey. Thank you for watching as always. Keep looking forward. I got more reviews to do. I'm going to knock out some more tonight. And then we're going to move on into some other SHTF scenario stuff, some food prep stuff, and we're going to expand the channel. Glad to be back. Thank you for watching. God bless.